Okay, we've all been there, right? You meet someone, the connection is electric. Everything just clicks. And then, out of nowhere, it just kind of fizzles out. It's confusing, it's definitely frustrating, and it leaves you just wondering what on earth went wrong. So today, we're going to break down the surprising science behind why this happens, and maybe more importantly, what you can actually do about it. And this is the question that just haunts you, isn't it? You go back through every single conversation, every text, just searching for that one moment, that one mistake that changed everything. It's a question that can honestly drive you a little crazy. But what if the answer isn't about something you did wrong at all? So to really get this, let's walk through a story that's probably going to feel pretty familiar. Let's call our guy Arjun. His experience is, well, it's the perfect example of this all too common fade out. For Arjun, the beginning was just magical. You know that feeling, right? The late night calls that last for hours, the inside jokes that nobody else gets, that feeling that you finally found someone who just gets you. It felt so incredibly special, almost like it was too good to be true. But then the shift began. And it wasn't some big dramatic breakup. No, it was a slow, gradual fade. That constant back and forth turned into shorter one-word replies. The phone calls got less and less frequent. And then, pretty much nothing. Just silence. And honestly, it's that slow burn that makes the whole thing so confusing and so painful. So what is actually going on here? I mean, really. To understand the fade out, we've got to look past just the feelings and dive into a little bit of science. Because there's a really powerful chemical reaction happening inside our brains. You know that initial high, that feeling of intense excitement where you can't get enough of the other person? Well, a huge part of that is driven by a chemical called dopamine. Our brain literally floods our system with it when we experience something new. A new person, new conversations, new feelings. It's the brain's way of saying, yes, this is exciting, keep doing this. But here's the catch. Our brains are absolute masters of adaptation. What was once a new and thrilling source of that dopamine hit, well, it eventually becomes familiar, normal, and that chemical rush naturally starts to fade. For connection to actually last, it has to grow into something deeper than just novelty. It needs to transition to other things like genuine companionship. And this brings us to another huge piece of the puzzle, emotional predictability. See, attraction, it thrives on a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of tension. If someone knows you're always going to text back in 5 seconds flat, that you'll always agree with them, and that you're always available, well, all the suspense is gone. The chase is over. And a lot of the time, so is the spark. And this is where we tend to get it all wrong. When we feel someone starting to pull away, our gut instinct screams at us to close that gap, to try harder, right? But this is the great and kind of cruel paradox of the chase. Our very efforts to pull someone closer are often the exact thing that pushes them away. Why does it backfire like that? Well, it's because of a super powerful psychological trigger called the scarcity principle. We are just hardwired to value things that are rare or hard to get. So, when your time and your attention become endlessly, easily available, subconsciously, they just start to feel less valuable. It's not a character flaw in you or them. It's just how our brains are wired. This whole thing creates this crazy, self-defeating loop. It starts the second you sense that little bit of distance. Your instinct kicks in, and you try harder. More texts, more calls, just checking in. But all this does is make your attention feel less scarce, which, crazily enough, pushes them even further away. The harder you try to close that gap, the wider it gets. Now let's go back to Arjun. This is exactly what he did. He fell right into the trap. He started double texting when he didn't get a reply. He laid out all of his feelings, just hoping it would bring her closer. By trying so hard to be the perfect, always-on partner, he accidentally squeezed all the mystery and all the challenge right out of the dynamic. But this isn't just a story about messing up. It's a story about learning. Because Arjun eventually figured out the one single thing that could change everything. He figured out how to get his power back. You want to know the most powerful thing he did? It was to do, well, nothing. He just stopped. He stopped trying to force the conversation, stopped trying to control the outcome, and stopped analyzing every single little interaction. He just let go. And you know what? Almost immediately, he felt this massive weight just lift off his shoulders. the anxiety, the pressure, it all just started to dissolve. All of a sudden, his self-worth wasn't tied to how fast someone texted him back. He started focusing on himself again, and his confidence just naturally came rushing back. And the funny thing is, by letting go of trying to control the other person, he finally gained control over the only thing that really matters anyway, himself and his own happiness. So here's the real takeaway. When someone's interest fades, it's very often not about some deep flaw in you. It's usually because that initial chemical excitement has just run its course, or maybe the mystery is gone. And sometimes the timing is just plain wrong for them. It's not always a puzzle you have to solve. So what do? What's the move? First, step back. Resist that gut-wrenching urge to panic and chase. Second, give them space. This is what lets a little bit of that mystery and scarcity creep back into the dynamic. And third, and this is the most important one, never ever lose yourself while you're trying to keep someone else. And I really want you to let this next part sink in. If you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. The right people will not need to be convinced to stay in your life. You should never have to audition for a permanent role with someone. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a quick look at your own connections. Are you exhausting yourself trying to convince someone of your worth? Or are you busy creating a life that is so full and so confident that the right person will naturally want to be a part of it? The difference between those two, well, it's everything.